All right, so have you heard of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? It's a classic, but maybe you're not sure if it's worth a read.
Well, that's what we're here for today. We're going to break it all down for you using this awesome article from Future Startup.
Oh, and we also took a peek at what people are saying over on Goodreads.
Just get a feel for the overall buzz.
Exactly. So should you actually read it?
Short answer, yes.
Especially if you're looking to seriously level up your personal growth.
It's full of timeless wisdom.
Though, fair warning, the writing style is.
A little dated.
Yeah, you might get some serious 80s vibes.
Totally. But don't let that throw you off because the core message is powerful.
Okay, so what's the core message then?
It's about shifting from dependence to independence and then...
Wait, hold on. Dependence to independence.
Yeah, and ultimately to interdependence. It's all about building character, not just focusing on outward personality.
Okay, I think I get the general idea, but can you break that down a bit? What does that actually look like in practice?
That's where the 7 habits come in. They're like a roadmap for that journey.
Okay, so walk me through them.
Let's start with habit 1. Be proactive.
Be proactive. I feel like I hear that everywhere. What does that even mean?
It's not just about taking initiative. It's about recognizing that you always have a choice in how you respond to things.
Honestly, that sounds kind of obvious. Don't we all know we have choices?
Think about it this way. Imagine a woodcutter chopping down a tree with a dull saw. He's working hard, but not getting very far.
I see where you're going with this.
Right. A proactive person is like the woodcutter who takes the time to sharpen his saw. It takes effort up front, but it makes him way more effective in the long run.
Okay, that's a great analogy. I love that. So it's about making sure you're quick to succeed. What about habit 2?
Habit 2 is begin with the end in mind.
Begin with the end in mind. That's interesting. What does that mean exactly?
It's all about defining your goals and having a vision for your life.
Okay, so like setting goals and making a plan. I get that.
Covey actually suggests a pretty intense exercise for this.
Oh, what is it?
Visualize your own funeral.
Whoa, that's a bit dark, isn't it?
It might sound morbid, but think about it. What do you want people to say about you when you're gone? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
Okay, I can see how that would be motivating. But how does that help you be effective in everyday life?
It helps you prioritize what truly matters. When you have a clear picture of the end goal, it's easier to make decisions that align with your values.
That makes sense. So it's not just about effectiveness, it's about living a meaningful life.
Exactly. And that's what makes this book so powerful. It's about more than just getting things done. It's about becoming a better person.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me about habit 3.
Habit 3 is put first things first. This is where Covey introduces his famous time management matrix.
Oh, I've heard of that. It's all about prioritizing, right?
Right. He argues that we often get caught up in urgent tasks that aren't actually important.
Whoa, tell me about it. My inbox is a nightmare.
Exactly. We spend so much time reacting to whatever screams the loudest.
So how do you break free from that?
It's about focusing on tasks that are important but not urgent. Those are the things that contribute to your long-term goals.
Okay, so like planning for the future instead of constantly putting out fires.
Precisely. Are you spending your time on things that truly matter, or are you just reacting to whatever's in front of you?
Oof, that's a good question. I need to think about that. What's habit 4?
Habit 4 is think win-win.
Think win-win. I like the sound of that.
It's about shifting your mindset from competition to collaboration.
Okay, but in the real world, isn't it usually a zero-sum game? Like someone wins and someone loses.
Not necessarily. Covey's point is that win-win is a mindset. You're looking for solutions that benefit everyone involved.
So it's about creating value for everyone, not just yourself.
Exactly. He says it beautifully. Win-win sees life as a cooperative, not a competitive arena.
I love that. It's about abundance, not scarcity. Okay, what's next?
Habit 5. This one might be the toughest, but also the most rewarding.
Oh, I'm all ears. Hit me with it.
It's called seek first to understand, then to be understood.
Ooh, that sounds challenging. I'm much better at talking than listening.
Most of us are. We tend to listen with the intent to reply, not to truly understand.
Guilty as charged.
We're so busy formulating our response in our heads that we don't really hear what the other person is saying.
Okay, that's so true. How do you actually practice empathetic listening, though? It sounds kind of abstract.
It takes effort, for sure. You have to quiet your own mind and really focus on what the other person is saying, both verbally and non-verbally.
So it's about putting yourself in their shoes, trying to see the world through their eyes.
Exactly. Covey had this great quote about it. He says, most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply.
Ouch. That's so true. I know I do that sometimes. But how do you actually get better at listening?
It's a skill you have to practice. It's about quieting your own mind and focusing on the other person.
Okay, so it's more than just hearing the words.
Exactly. You have to pay attention to their body language, their tone of voice.
Really trying to understand where they're coming from.
Right, putting yourself in their shoes.
Okay, I get it. It's about empathy. What's habit 6?
Habit 6 is synergize.
Synergize. That sounds like teamwork.
It is. It's about recognizing that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Okay, but haven't we already talked about collaboration with Think Win-Win?
They're related, but synergize goes deeper. It's about leveraging the diversity of perspectives to create something truly innovative.
So it's not just about working together, it's about using your differences to your advantage.
Exactly. Think of it like this. One stick is easy to break, but a bundle of sticks is much stronger.
I like that visual. What's the final habit?
Habit 7 is sharpen the saw.
Sharpen the saw. Is that a metaphor?
It is. It's about taking care of yourself in all dimensions. Physical, mental, spiritual, and social.
Oh, so it's about self-care. I know that's important, but I struggle to make time for it.
It's not just about bubble baths and spa days, though those can be nice.
Sure.
It's about making sure you're taking care of your body with exercise and healthy eating.
Okay, makes sense.
Feeding your mind with learning and new experiences. Connecting with your inner self through meditation or nature.
And nurturing your relationships.
Exactly. It's about creating a sustainable lifestyle that supports your overall well-being.
Okay, I can see how all of this ties into being effective.
Yeah.
It's hard to perform at your best when you're running on empty. But I have to admit, I've seen some criticism of the book online.
Oh, yeah.
Some people find it a bit cheesy or overly simplistic.
Yeah, some of the anecdotes can feel a little forced, and the language is definitely a product of its time.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to look beyond that and focus on the underlying principles.
Okay, so don't get bogged down in the details. Focus on the big picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The principles themselves are timeless and still incredibly relevant today.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But with so many personal development books out there, how does the 7 habits stack up against the competition?
That's a good question. It really depends on what you're looking for. If you want a pure productivity system, David Allen's Getting Things Done is fantastic.
Okay, I've heard of that one. What's it about?
It's all about getting organized and managing your workflow efficiently.
So it's more tactical?
Right. But if you're looking for a more holistic approach that addresses character development and personal growth, then the 7 habits is a better fit.
Interesting. So getting things done is more about doing things while the 7 habits is about being.
That's a good way to put it.
Are there any other books you'd recommend alongside the 7 habits?
Absolutely. If you're interested in communication, Crucial Conversations is a great one.
What does that cover?
It gives you strategies for navigating difficult conversations.
Ooh, that sounds useful.
It really is. And if you want to take Covey's work to the next level, check out his follow-up book, The 8th Habit.
There's an 8th habit.
There is. It focuses on finding your voice and inspiring others.
Okay, so it builds on the original 7.
Exactly. It addresses the need for leadership and meaning in a rapidly changing world.
So the 7 habits is like the foundation, and then you can add on from there.
Exactly. It's a great starting point for anyone who wants to live a more effective and fulfilling life.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We talked about all 7 habits.
We looked at some of the criticisms.
And we compared it to other popular books.
Right. So after all of that, is it really worth your time?
What do you think?
Absolutely. The 7 Habits offers a timeless framework for personal growth. It might be a bit dated in terms of language, but the principles are as relevant today as they were when it was first published.
But reading about the habits is one thing, actually applying them is another.
Yeah.
How can our listeners take this knowledge and actually make it work in their lives?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's about taking action, not just absorbing information.
So where do you even begin?
Don't feel like you have to tackle all 7 habits at once. Pick one that resonates with you, something you're really struggling with, and start small. Make tiny changes, experiment, and see what sticks.
Okay, so it's more of a marathon than a sprint.
Exactly. And remember, it's a framework, not a rule book. Adapt the principles to fit your personality and your situation.
So make it your own. Any final thoughts for our listeners before we wrap up?
Yeah. Personal growth is a journey, not a destination. You'll face setbacks and challenges along the way. The key is to be patient with yourself, keep learning, and never stop striving to become a more effective and fulfilled individual.
Beautifully said. So to wrap up our deep dive into the 7 habits of highly effective people, We wholeheartedly recommend this book to anyone looking for a solid foundation for personal and professional growth.
It's packed with wisdom that can help you gain clarity on your goals and ultimately live a more meaningful life.
And hey, even if you find some of the anecdotes a little cheesy or the language a bit outdated, don't let that stop you.
Yeah.
The core message of this book is truly transformative.
Choose a habit that speaks to you. Start small, experiment, and embrace the journey of personal growth.
And remember, if you ever need a thought partner to help you synergize, you know where to find us. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep exploring.